You're swimming. The water is warm, the sun is hitting the surface, and the light scatters into pale green ribbons that move with your arms. You can hear the muffled hum of the world above. Voices, laughter, the dull splash of someone jumping in. It's a normal day. A warm afternoon, the kind of day where nothing goes wrong. And then your foot doesn't touch the bottom. You reach down, and there's nothing. The water is deeper than you thought. Your body shifts. Your chin drops below the surface. You inhale at the wrong moment. Not much, just a sip. And the water hits the back of your throat like a fist. This is the moment everything changes. Your body has a response to this. And it's not the one you think. You don't scream. You don't wave your arms. You don't splash or thrash or call for help. In 1971, a lifeguard and researcher named Dr. Francesco Pia filmed dozens of real drowning incidents and discovered something that changed rescue training forever. He called it the Instinctive Drowning Response. When a human being is actively drowning, the brain overrides everything. Every voluntary action, waving, shouting, swimming towards safety, is shut down. The only thing your body allows you to do is push down on the water with your arms, trying to leverage your mouth above the surface for one more breath. Your arms extend to the sides. They press down. Your head tilts back. Your mouth opens and closes, gasping, silent. You cannot call for help. The respiratory system is prioritized for breathing, and there is no air left over for speech. You cannot wave. Your arms are locked into the survival pattern. You cannot swim toward the edge. Your legs are vertical beneath you, not kicking. To anyone watching from the shore, you look like you're treading water. You look fine. This is why drowning is the #1 cause of death in children under 5 in many countries. This is why parents sitting 6 feet away don't notice. This is why lifeguards are trained to look for the absence of noise, not the presence of it. The silence is the signal. According to the World Health Organization, 300,000 people die by drowning every year. It is the leading cause of unintentional death for children between 1 and 4 in dozens of countries. And here is the detail that haunts every rescue professional. In the majority of cases, someone was nearby. Someone was watching. They just didn't recognize what they were seeing. Because what they were seeing looked like nothing. No splashing, no screaming, no arms above the head. Just a person, vertical in the water, mouth barely breaking the surface, eyes open, silent, for 20 to 60 seconds, and then gone. And it lasts between 20 and 60 seconds. That's all the time you have on the surface. Less than a minute. Then you go under, and you don't come back up. The moment your head goes below the waterline, your body does something remarkable. Your larynx, the structure at the top of your windpipe that contains your vocal cords, slams shut. It's a reflex, involuntary, instantaneous. Your vocal cords close so tightly that nothing can pass through. Not air, not water, nothing. This is called laryngospasm, and it's your body's last attempt to save you. The logic is brutally simple. If water reaches your lungs, the delicate tissue that exchanges oxygen and carbon dioxide will be destroyed. So your body seals the airway. It builds a wall. It sacrifices your ability to breathe in order to protect your ability to breathe. But here's the problem. You can't breathe. Not in, not out. Your chest heaves. Your diaphragm contracts. Your ribs pull outward. Every muscle involved in respiration is firing at maximum effort, trying to pull air through a passage that is physically sealed shut. The sensation is not like holding your breath. When you hold your breath, you know you can stop. You know the air is there, waiting. This is different. This is your body trying to inhale and being denied, over and over and over. The carbon dioxide in your blood is rising, fast. Your blood pH is dropping, becoming more acidic with every passing second. Your brainstem, the most primitive part of your brain, is screaming a single command. breathe. But you can't, and this is where the pain lives. Your chest burns. Not a metaphorical burn, a physical, searing pressure that spreads from your sternum outward, through your ribs, into your shoulders, up into your jaw. Medical researchers describe the sensation of maximal CO2 buildup as one of the most intense forms of distress the human body can produce. It is the body's alarm system running at full volume with no off switch. This phase lasts somewhere between 30 and 90 seconds. Your body is holding the wall, keeping the water out, buying time. But the clock is running and there is no air coming. Eventually the wall breaks. The laryngospasm relaxes. Not because your body gives up, because the muscles themselves run out of oxygen. They can no longer sustain the contraction. Your vocal cords open, and the water rushes in. It doesn't trickle, it floods. Water pours into your trachea, fills your bronchial tubes, and reaches the alveoli, the 300 million tiny air sacs in your lungs, where oxygen is supposed to cross into your bloodstream. The alveoli are designed for air. They are not designed for water. The surfactant that keeps them open dissolves. They collapse. The surface area available for gas exchange, an area roughly the size of a tennis court when healthy, shrinks to almost nothing in seconds. There is a sensation that survivors who were resuscitated at this stage describe with remarkable consistency. They say the water doesn't feel like water anymore. It feels heavy, dense, like breathing liquid concrete. Your chest feels like it's being compressed from the inside. Not crushed, but filled with something that has weight, something that doesn't belong. Every instinct in your body tells you to cough, to expel, to clear the passage. But there is nothing to clear it with. The air is gone, the water is in. Your blood oxygen level drops below 60%, then 40, then 30. Your heart, which has been beating harder and faster, trying to compensate, begins to falter. The rhythm breaks down. The electrical signals that coordinate each heartbeat become erratic, disordered, chaotic. This is cardiac arrhythmia, and within minutes it will become cardiac arrest. But something happens before the arrest, something no one expects. The pain stops. It doesn't fade. It stops. The burning in your chest, the desperate convulsions of your diaphragm, the screaming alarm of your brainstem, all of it goes quiet. And in its place, something else arrives. Calm. Researchers studying near-drowning survivors have documented this transition repeatedly. Approximately 20% of drowning survivors report a formal near-death experience. But a much larger number describe this specific moment. The moment the body stops fighting and the brain, starved of oxygen, begins to change. Hypoxia, the medical term for oxygen deprivation, does something extraordinary to the brain. As oxygen levels fall below the threshold needed for normal function, the neurons in the prefrontal cortex begin to slow. These are the neurons responsible for fear, planning, judgment, the constant narration of selfhood that tells you who you are and what you should be worried about. When they go quiet, what's left is something that survivors describe as the most peaceful sensation they have ever experienced. Your visual field narrows. Colors shift. Some survivors report seeing vivid patterns, kaleidoscopes, spirals, waves of color that have no source. Others describe a sensation of floating, not in water anymore, but in something else. Something warm, something formless. The boundaries of your body dissolve. You're no longer a person trapped under the surface. You are a point of awareness in a space without edges. Dr. Sam Parnia, Director of Resuscitation Research at NYU Langone, has studied thousands of cardiac arrest patients, many of whom experienced oxygen deprivation due to drowning. He describes this state as a paradox of consciousness. At the moment when the brain should be shutting down completely, some patients report heightened lucidity. Not confusion, not hallucination. Clarity. The kind of clarity they say is more real than anything they've experienced while alive. Some see their lives, not as a memory, as a panorama. Every moment, every decision, every face, compressed into a single, simultaneous experience. Others describe encountering a presence. Not a person, not a god, but something vast and wordless that they interpret as benevolent. Not everyone reports this. Many survivors remember nothing. But those who do remember speak of it with a consistency that crosses cultures, religions, and ages. The details vary. The quality of the experience does not. And then, if you are lucky, something pulls you back. There is one more piece of science that belongs in this story, something that turns everything you've just read on its edge. The mammalian dive reflex. When cold water, specifically water below 21 degrees Celsius, contacts your face, your body activates an ancient survival mechanism. Your heart rate drops immediately, by 25 to 50%. Your blood vessels constrict in your extremities, shunting blood away from your arms and legs and toward your heart and brain. Your spleen contracts, releasing stored red blood cells to carry more oxygen in less blood. Your metabolism slows. This reflex exists in every mammal. Seals use it to dive thousands of feet. Whales use it to hold their breath for 90 minutes. And humans, especially young humans, especially in cold water, use it to survive what should be unsurvivable. In 1999, a 29-year-old Swedish radiologist named Anna Bågenholm was skiing in northern Norway when she fell through a frozen stream and became trapped under the ice. She was submerged for 80 minutes. Her core body temperature dropped to 13.7 degrees Celsius, 56.7 Fahrenheit. When rescuers pulled her out, she had no pulse, no respiration. By every clinical definition, she was dead. She was airlifted to Tromsø University Hospital, where doctors connected her to a cardiopulmonary bypass machine, essentially circulating her blood outside her body to warm it. After hours of rewarming, her heart restarted. And over the following months, Anna Bågenholm recovered, nearly completely. She returned to work. She returned to skiing. In 2025, a medical case study documented an 8-year-old boy submerged in icy water for 147 minutes, nearly 2.5 hours. His core temperature dropped to 7 degrees Celsius. He was resuscitated using ECMO, extracorporeal membrane oxygenation, and recovered with meaningful neurological function. The principle is counterintuitive but backed by decades of emergency medicine. Cold kills you slower than warmth. If hypothermia reaches the brain before oxygen deprivation does, the brain's metabolic demand drops so dramatically that it can survive without oxygen for far longer than the standard 4 to 6 minute window. This is why emergency physicians follow one rule in cold water drowning cases. No one is dead until they are warm and dead. Your body has a reflex designed to drown more slowly. The same cold that threatens to kill you is the thing that might save you. The same water that filled your lungs is the medium that preserved your brain. 300,000 people drown every year. That's a number from the World Health Organization. 300,000, more than die in wars, more than die in natural disasters. It is the third leading cause of death for children between 5 and 14. Most of these deaths happen in silence, in swimming pools, in bathtubs, in shallow rivers on warm afternoons where someone looked away for 60 seconds. Drowning doesn't look like drowning. That's the sentence Francesco Pia spent his career trying to teach the world. And it's the sentence that should stay with you long after this video ends. You walked through every stage. The silence, the spasm, the flood, the fire in your chest, the impossible calm, the ancient reflex that fights to bring you back. You know now what the body does when air becomes water and water becomes everything. And now you're standing at the edge of the question this channel always returns to. The question that lives beneath every video, every journey, every moment of silence between heartbeats. What happens when the reflex isn't enough? When the cold isn't cold enough? When no one pulls you out? What happens on the other side of the water? Science has mapped the minutes. It has counted the oxygen molecules. It has measured the electrical silence of a brain that has gone dark. But the thing that was looking out through your eyes, the thing that felt the warmth of the sun on the surface, the thing that heard laughter before the water closed over your head. Where does that go? No one who has truly drowned can tell you, and no one who hasn't can imagine it. This is the other side.